The 2024 US presidential election is around the corner. Americans will choose between two candidates with vastly different visions. This election is not just about domestic policy, it's about global leadership. The decisions made in the Oval Office have consequences far beyond American borders. The next president will inherit a world facing complex challenges like climate change, economic instability, and geopolitical tensions. The stakes couldn't be higher. The decisions made will shape the future for generations to come. This is a pivotal moment in history. America finds itself at a crossroads. The nation is divided with deep political and social divides. The 2024 election is a chance for Americans to choose their path forward. On one hand, there's a desire for change and new leadership. Some Americans want a leader who can unite the country. On the other hand, there's a desire for stability and experience. Some Americans fear change and value a steady hand. The 2024 election is a referendum on America's identity. It's about what kind of nation America wants to be in the 21st century. It's about America's role in a rapidly changing world. Understanding the potential impact of each candidate is paramount. It's about examining their policies and their vision for the future. Kamala Harris's journey is one of breaking barriers. As the first female vice president, she made history. She is also the first black person and the first Asian American to hold the office. Harris began her career as a prosecutor, served as the district attorney of San Francisco, and later became the Attorney General of California. Her focus was on criminal justice reform and protecting vulnerable communities. In 2017, she became a US Senator for California. Harris quickly gained a reputation as a tough questioner, known for her sharp intellect and commitment to social justice. Her political platform centers on progressive values like affordable healthcare, climate action, and racial justice. She is a vocal critic of income inequality and systemic racism. Her vision for America is one of unity, equality, and opportunity for all. Donald Trump's return to the political arena is unprecedented. After a tumultuous 4 years in the White House, he remains a powerful force in American politics. Trump's background is in business and entertainment, rising to fame as a real estate developer and reality TV star. His entry into politics was unexpected and shook the political establishment. Trump's presidency was marked by controversy, with policies on immigration, trade, and foreign relations drawing both praise and criticism. Despite losing the 2020 election, Trump remains popular among his base. He continues to hold rallies and make media appearances. His return to the political stage suggests a desire to regain power. His influence on American politics is likely to continue. Trump's legacy is a mix of fervent support and strong opposition. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump offer starkly different visions for America. Their backgrounds, experiences, and policy positions reflect these contrasting views. Harris represents a more traditional approach to politics with a focus on social justice and equality. Trump represents a break from tradition with his outsider status and populist message. The 2024 election presents a clear choice for American voters. It is a choice between two candidates with fundamentally different views on the role of government and America's place in the world. Understanding their backgrounds and positions is crucial for voters to make an informed decision. The future of the nation hangs in the balance. A Kamala Harris presidency would likely usher in a new era of progressive policymaking. Her domestic agenda would be ambitious, aiming to address long-standing social and economic disparities. Healthcare, climate change, and criminal justice reform would be top priorities. Harris supports expanding access to affordable healthcare and moving towards a Medicare for all system. On climate change, Harris is committed to taking bold action, including rejoining the Paris Agreement and investing in renewable energy. Criminal justice reform is another cornerstone of Harris's domestic agenda, focusing on ending mass incarceration and promoting police reform. Harris's progressive agenda would represent a significant shift from the policies of the previous administration. Her focus on social justice, equality and government intervention would be a hallmark of her presidency. Kamala Harris's economic policies aim to strike a balance between promoting economic growth and addressing income inequality. She supports a mix of government investment, tax policies and regulations to achieve these goals. Harris proposes investing in infrastructure, education and clean energy to create jobs and boost economic growth. She also supports raising the minimum wage and expanding worker protections. To address income inequality, Harris proposes tax reforms that benefit the middle class and working families. She supports expanding the Earned Income Tax Credit and the Child Tax Credit. Harris's economic policies have drawn criticism from conservatives who argue that her focus on government intervention would stifle economic growth. However, her supporters believe that her approach is necessary to create a fairer and more just economy. A Kamala Harris presidency would likely prioritize diplomacy and multilateralism in foreign relations. She aims to restore America's global standing and rebuild relationships with allies. Harris has expressed a commitment to working with international partners to address global challenges like climate change, pandemics, and nuclear proliferation. On trade, Harris supports fair trade agreements that protect American workers and the environment. She has been critical of trade deals that she believes have led to job losses and environmental degradation. Harris's foreign policy approach emphasizes diplomacy, multilateralism, and a commitment to human rights. Her goal is to reassert America's leadership role in the world while promoting peace, security, and global cooperation. Harris believes that global cooperation is essential to tackling these issues effectively. While a Kamala Harris presidency holds promise for progressive change, it would also face significant challenges and potential backlash. Her ambitious agenda would likely encounter resistance from conservative lawmakers and interest groups. Implementing her progressive agenda would require navigating a divided Congress. Passing legislation on healthcare, climate change and gun control would be an uphill battle. Her focus on social justice issues could also face pushback, with critics accusing her of being too divisive. Addressing racial and social disparities while maintaining broad support would be a delicate balancing act. External factors such as the global economy and international conflicts could pose challenges to her presidency. Responding effectively to these issues while advancing her domestic agenda would require adept leadership and political maneuvering. Perhaps the greatest challenge facing a Kamala Harris presidency would be uniting a deeply divided nation. Political polarization, social unrest, and a fractured media landscape would create a challenging environment for governing and building consensus. Harris would need to find ways to bridge the partisan divide and bring Americans together around shared goals. This would require a combination of strong leadership, effective communication, and a willingness to reach across the aisle. Building trust and fostering understanding across ideological lines would be essential for advancing her agenda. The success of a Kamala Harris presidency would depend in large part on her ability to navigate these challenges and unite the nation. Her ability to build consensus, overcome opposition, and inspire hope would be critical to achieving her goals. A second Donald Trump presidency would likely see a resurgence of his signature America First agenda. This would mean a renewed emphasis on issues like immigration control, deregulation, and conservative social policies. Trump would likely seek to build upon the foundations laid during his first term. Immigration would once again take center stage with stricter laws and border security measures. Deregulation would be a key focus, targeting environmental, financial, and healthcare regulations for rollback. On social issues, Trump would likely align with conservative positions, supporting policies that restrict abortion access and oppose LGBTQ+ rights. Trump's domestic agenda would represent a continuation of his first-term priorities. His focus on immigration, deregulation, and conservative social values would resonate with his base. These policies would likely face strong opposition from his critics. Donald Trump's economic policies would likely center on economic nationalism and protectionist trade policies. He has been a vocal critic of globalization and free trade agreements. Trump would likely continue to pursue tariffs and trade deals that he believes prioritize American interests. His signature economic policy during his first term was the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, reducing taxes for corporations and individuals. Trade would likely be a major focus, with a confrontational approach to negotiations. Trump's economic policies have had a mixed impact on the US economy, with growth and low unemployment, but also criticism for harming businesses and consumers. His protectionist trade policies have drawn criticism for their impact on American businesses and consumers. The economic landscape under Trump would be shaped by his focus on American interests. Donald Trump's foreign policy has been characterized by unpredictability and a disregard for traditional diplomatic norms. He has shown a willingness to challenge long-standing alliances and engage in unconventional diplomacy. Trump's approach to foreign policy would likely remain a source of both concern and intrigue. He has expressed skepticism of international institutions like NATO and the United Nations. Trump prefers bilateral relationships and transactional diplomacy, prioritizing American interests. His foreign policy has been particularly consequential in the Middle East, withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal and moving the US embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. Trump's foreign policy has drawn mixed reactions, with some praising his aggressive pursuit of American interests and others criticizing his unpredictability. His approach to foreign policy would continue to prioritize American interests above all else. One of the most significant concerns surrounding a potential Donald Trump presidency is his impact on American democracy. His rhetoric and actions have often been seen as divisive. Critics argue that he has eroded trust in democratic institutions. Trump has repeatedly made unsubstantiated claims of voter fraud. His refusal to accept the 2020 election results raised serious concerns. Regardless of one's views on Donald Trump's policies, he is a polarizing figure who evokes strong emotions from both sides. Governing a deeply divided America is a formidable challenge for any president. Trump's rhetoric and actions have often exacerbated existing divisions. His confrontational style makes it difficult to build consensus. The social and political climate in the United States is highly polarized. Issues such as race, immigration, and identity are deeply divisive. A Tale of Two Americas. The domestic landscapes of a Kamala Harris presidency and a Donald Trump presidency paint starkly different pictures. Their approaches to healthcare, education, social justice, and environmental policy reveal contrasting visions. Harris emphasizes social safety nets, government intervention, and equity. Her policies would expand healthcare, education, and environmental regulations. Conversely, Trump prefers market-based solutions and traditional values. He would reduce government roles in healthcare and education, prioritize deregulation, and emphasize law and order. These contrasting approaches would create two very different lived experiences for Americans. Section 2. Economic impact, divergent paths to prosperity. The economic paths charted by a Harris presidency and a Trump presidency diverge significantly. Harris focuses on government investment in infrastructure, education, and clean energy. She supports raising the minimum wage and increasing taxes on corporations to fund social programs. Trump's philosophy centers on deregulation, tax cuts, and protectionist trade policies. He seeks to renegotiate trade deals and reduce corporate taxes to boost domestic manufacturing. These contrasting approaches would create winners and losers in different sectors of the economy. Section 3. Global impact. America's place in the world. The global stage would witness a dramatic shift in America's posture and influence under a Kamala Harris presidency compared to a Donald Trump presidency. Their approaches to diplomacy, multilateralism, military intervention, and global challenges like climate change would reshape America's relationships with allies and adversaries alike. Harris represents a return to traditional diplomacy, multilateral cooperation, and a commitment to global engagement. Trump, if re-elected, would likely continue his America First approach to foreign policy, characterized by unilateral action, skepticism of international institutions, and a transactional view of global relationships. These contrasting approaches would have profound implications for global stability and America's role in the world. As we've explored the potential impacts of a Kamala Harris presidency versus a Donald Trump presidency, one thing becomes abundantly clear. The stakes are incredibly high. The 2024 election is not merely a contest between two individuals or even two parties. It's a crossroads for America, a defining moment that will shape the nation's trajectory for years to come. The choice facing American voters is stark. A Harris presidency promises a course correction, a focus on social justice, and tackling climate change. A second Trump term represents a doubling down on his America First agenda. The weight of this choice rests heavily on the shoulders of American voters. In the face of such consequential choices, the importance of an informed citizenry cannot be overstated. This requires seeking out diverse perspectives, engaging with opposing viewpoints respectfully, and delving into the complexities of the issues at hand. An informed citizenry is the bedrock of a healthy and functioning democracy. When voters are engaged, informed, and actively participate in the political process, they hold their elected officials accountable. As we've journeyed through the potential impacts of a Kamala Harris presidency versus a Donald Trump presidency, one crucial element remains: you, the American voter. Your voice, your vote, holds immense power. It's the lifeblood of democracy. Don't underestimate the significance of your participation. Your vote is not just a right, it's a responsibility. Make your voice heard. Engage in discussions, volunteer, and most importantly, cast your vote on Election Day. The journey doesn't end on Election Day, it's just the beginning. Stay informed and engaged to hold officials accountable. Seek reliable information and engage with diverse viewpoints. Contact officials, attend town halls, and make your voice heard. Democracy thrives on active participation. The future of America depends on it.